really enjoy like veggies on my pizzas, but my roommates are like, no, we're just gonna have meats, and I'm like, that's fine. But every now and again, I like to splurge and get one for myself. Here, Blasted, have a piece of pizza. Scribe it through my computer. See how well that works for you.
Oh, wait, wrong one. There we go. Hold on, I gotta...
Oh no!
Reactive Fugitech group. Let's see if this works. Okay, it should work. Hopefully.
Hello? I'm here. Hello?
Oh, wait, I forgot
I'm a fox.
Okay, there we go, there's one.
You can see all of my tails.
Just gotta wait for Baffy to come on in. Hello, everyone! Hello! Oh, wait, this is Pamphlet. Hold on, Pamphlet, go get Paige. Hello! Oh, you don't want to say hello to Pamphlet. She'll cut your nose with like a piece of paper. Unless that's what you're into.
She can certainly try.
You know Pamphlet is fucking psychotic. Also, hello.
And my character is literally built
chat.
around not getting hit.
Oh, hey yo-yo, welcome.
Between just mirrored images and
Well, you see, Pamphlet was
teleporting around the battlefield.
Pamphlet was an attempt for Index to try and split herself a little bit. So the whole thing about Pamphlet is...
Well, it certainly was a little bit, considering she's so small.
Yeah, the lore is... I'm trying to split myself among the library to handle... Oh, hello, Baffy's raid with 11 people! Hi, welcome on in! So,
hello.
The lore behind Index is she tried to split herself so she could handle more tasks at once in the library, and the experiment failed and resulted in Pamphlet, but Pamphlet is like condensed Index, so she feels emotions a lot more. Pamphlet's a little sweetie though sometimes. Hi there,
Blasted!
Hi Dragon Chris, hello Baffy's Raiders. Hello everyone, thank you for coming on into the podcast tonight. We'll be starting as soon as Baffy comes on into the call.
Yep. We'll be getting started.
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited to talk about accents and dialects. We're gonna be...
It's one of the fun times, eh?
Yep, exactly. We're gonna be spending the next 90 minutes talking about accents and changing your voice.
Need to increase my repertoire of stuff that I can
Hi Mabel, the rabbit!
do in terms of accents.
Thanks for coming on in. Also, yeah, the big thing about this episode... Oh, thank you, Blasted!
Hello!
Thank you all for coming on in. The big thing that we're gonna take away from this episode...
Oh, hi, Mark.
Thank you for the new follow. I cannot see what that says because... Oh, Blasted, thank you for the follow.
Blasted, the website echo.
The big thing to take away from this episode is accents are not just what they're portrayed as in media. Each and every accent has many different dialects. You have regional dialects, you have accents for specific regions in a country, and we're going to be talking about those tonight. And while we're waiting for Baffy, we can start talking a little bit about it. Let me switch the music.
I was gonna say we can start when Baffy actually gets here, but we can just kind of shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yeah, we can shoot the shit for a little bit. I'm fine with shooting the shit.
Ow.
Click, click, boom.
Also, it gives me a little bit of time to actually eat my dinner.
So, booklets. Thank you all for coming on here.
Yay! Sending the big loves and the huggies.
Whether you're new, whether you're a returning booklet, thank you for coming on in. Thank you for being a follower. Thank you for being a lurker. Thank you for just being here and helping this entire endeavor become a reality. Background. I wanted to make this podcast so that I could reach out to anyone in the community, regardless of where you're starting, regardless of where you're at, one way or the other. It's wonderful to have you all here, and whether you're cis, whether you're trans, whether you're somewhere in between, if you want to just learn how to voice act, speak in public, or train your voice
to do what I do.
Somewhere in between, somewhere not even on the scale.
You better goddamn well believe I will use this talent to help you.
Buffy, you're in the corner. Buffy!
Hi,
Buffy! Index is sitting on Buffy's face.
What?
On my screen. I'm moving Buffy.
You had me doing the circle eyes there for a second. I love Baffy's ping.
It's great.
She's doing a big sippy.
I'm doing it.
With the pinky raised. But yeah.
Oh no, this right here is a big sippy.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that. I love it. But thank you for coming in. Thank you all for coming in to the TranScribeCast episode 2.
Yay!
So, without further ado, I would like to get started with a little preface for this episode. Like I said earlier, we're talking about accents, dialects, and a variety of other hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Yeah, let's start off by talking about speech and accents. There's no real, I don't have an accent. People could say I don't have an accent because I'm sure you've heard the term nose blind before. Like you can't smell something as readily as someone else because you're around that smell so much more.
I don't have an accent until I go to somewhere else where everybody else has a different accent than I do, and I sound like I'm the odd one out.
Exactly. You
Well,
have
yeah,
an
that's
accent.
because they're the weirdos.
Yeah, you guys have an accent. It's just you hear it so often it doesn't seem like an accent to you. That's just kind of that's kind of the big thing. And going anywhere else or hearing someone from outside of your area talk, you're like, oh, that's a nice accent.
That's not an accent, that's just how I sound. Hey, what are you talking about, chuckle mutts?
It's kind of amazing to see how speech is so different from region to region, but for everyone in those regions, that speech to them is, I don't have an accent, when all the world does.
It bruv in it.
Yeah, that's a bit of the rub there, in it, bruv. I don't have an accent, you do. My father, whenever someone comments on his accent. Exactly. Like, I could tell you, I don't have a Chicago accent because I don't sound like I have a Chicago accent, but I have a bit of a Chicago accent. I drop off the G from a lot of words. I shorten a lot of words. Sometimes I'll start talking about the Bears and talking about it from Chicago. Depends on how I'm influencing my vowels. But that's kind of like the big number one thing to know about accents. It's just a matter of sounding a little different, but when you get down to it, if you're trying to sound like you're from another area, your first thought is gonna be, hey, let me ask Baffy and Ned this. If I asked you for an Irish accent, what would you use?
Oh gosh, probably something wildly inaccurate and possibly offensive.
I would say, like, the most well-known Irish accent on the internet is at least Jacksepticeye's accent, but that's...
Yeah, that is.
Exactly, that's a regional dialect
Yep.
from Central Ireland. Ireland is a big place with, like, 12 different dialects, I think it was. Because, yeah, they all speak the same language there. Some of them speak English, some of them speak, like, Gaelic, some of them speak... That's not the point. It's the way they speak and how they are perceived when they speak, but each and every region of Ireland could tell you, hey, you're from that part of Ireland because I know these accents because I've lived with them, but from an outsider looking in perspective, they all sound the same at first. But stick around them long enough and you'll hear the differences. And that's the one thing I want to talk about, especially for voice actors today. Because this is a super important thing. If you're going to be voice acting characters with accents, you need to understand, okay, am I doing this type of dialect? Am I from the Highlands? Am I from the Lowlands? Am I from East? Am I from West? What kind of slang am I using? And it's not a matter of just the words, but you have to understand how they use them as well. So it's a good idea to do research on them. Would one of my lovely guests like to talk for a little bit?
I actually know that, like, even within... I took a couple years of Japanese in college, and it's one of those things of, like, they have just, like, 3 or 4, like, different dialects, like, because there's, like, a... It's where they, like, drop certain parts of the phrasing of sentences and stuff. And
Exactly.
they'll also... It's one of those things... And sometimes they pronounce things a little bit different. And, like, you can tell, like... You can tell, like, one of the northern Japanese people from one of the southern Japanese people. Like, yeah, they're still speaking the same language, but, like, you can definitely tell just between accent and dialect and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that... But, like I said, it's one of the most important things, especially if you're going to be voice acting a character that isn't your normal accent. Different nemesis, don't you mean wrong? Hey, not Dorothy! None of that!
Anyways.
Here's one thing I would like to point out. For this, like, the big thing to notice about this, someone asks you, like, let's say you're not from America, but they ask you to do an American accent for the sake of a commercial or the sake of a show. Yeah, most of the time, they'll default to one of the extremes. They'll either go Californian, New Yorker, or Texan. But the thing is, America alone has so many different, like, slight differences between state to state and how each and every one of them talks.
Right.
And it's not just in their tone of voice, but it's in their language and their slang. Like, hey, I'd like you to sound like a New Yorker. Do you want me to sound like I'm from the Bronx? Do you want me to sound like I'm from Staten Island? Do you want me to sound like I'm from, you know...
New Jersey?
Exactly.
Jersey.
Yeah, we're talking about...
Jersey.
We ain't gonna talk about the people from Jersey. But like I said, if you want to sound like it's from anywhere in America, you gotta understand where the hell your accent is coming from.
Paige, are you trying to sound like you're from the balmy South right now?
Oh, mostly me. You have
Southern Belle.
caught me.
Oh, mercy me.
You wanted the Southern Bells?
Exactly.
Mercy.
I am a consummate gentlewoman once I have this accent on. And of course, I know this is an accent because I've practiced with it for so long, but it's just so natural to me now. But if you're being asked to sound like you're from the mountainous region, or like from Wisconsin or something, and you're trying to do a Texan or Louisianan accent, you're gonna sound very off. I'd like you to sound like an American.
Well, boy, howdy, I gotta tell you.
You probably wanted me to sound a little bit more like this if you wanted someone from Wisconsin. You know?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, from Wisconsin, from Minnesota. Oh, gosh darn it.
The way you did a Minnesota accent, it did make me think of Minnesota. It made me think, I can see Russia from my backyard.
Well, fun fact, she is originally from Minnesota, I believe.
Oh, shit.
Either way, I can see Russia from my house. Oh, I'll never forget that meme. But I would like to defer the floor to my two wonderful guests who, let's give them a proper introduction booklets. I'm sure many of you already know them, but for those of you who don't know, I have here at the bottom left-hand corner, Baffy the Saffy, who just had her wonderful debut.
Hello. Very appropriate that I'm in the bottom left because I am bottom left. Double D's, dumb and degenerate.
Hello there!
Thank you for the hello there, Safi of YouTube. And I also have the ever wonderful Kitsune, Nemesis!
Hello, I am Nemesis. I am a variety streamer. I do a whole bunch of random games. I also have a little bit of a block set aside for D&D and Warhammer 40,000. And yeah, I am a Kitsune from the Feywild that has a little bit of a cyberpunk aesthetic as well. Yeah.
Index, would you like to tell non-authority the error of their ways?
Well, you see, Beth is
My top.
Yeah.
because the other day we were playing Power Watch Simulator, and the joke was someone made a joke about making sure your top is washed down, nice and clean, and like, I can't wash Baffy, she's not here on the screen.
No, that's not what it was. It was
Oh God, please.
it was you said something about cleaning the top, and I said I have a name, Paige.
Oh God, yeah. And I'm just like, well, I got exposed. So Baffy's nickname for me is my top. But back on topic.
Back on topic.
Let's talk about accents and dialects some more, because a lot of misconceptions from them come from media. Like cartoons mostly, especially classic cartoons. How they would get the stereotypical accents and did them so over the top that they almost became an indictment of voice acting. I don't want to point any fingers at specific series and be called out on it, but I'm sure you can guess a couple.
I mean, I'll point a
Cough,
finger
cough,
at
for
one.
kids, cough, cough. Cough, cough, for kids, cough, cough.
Cough, cough,
Now-
for kids, cough, cough, cough.
Now, are they still even around?
Okay, so I'm gonna be the odd one out here, and I know exactly what you're talking about here, and it's the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh. There was, I mean, yes, the fucking Brooklyn accent was awful, but there was actually a reason for it. But it's one of the little complexities that Paige will probably start to get into later.
Oh, you're talking about Joey Wheeler, are you? You're talking about the number 2 place duelist from Duelist Kingdom. So much for being a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck, eh, baby? You gotta believe in the head of the cards there, yoke.
I cannot wait for the episode on impressions. That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
American. Thank you for the first time chat, Zenny Milano, Groans and Kaifa. American Man Make America had an amazing accent too.
The weird thing is that like for the three of us and probably a lot of people who are watching right now, it might be hard to remember what Joey's dub accent is because a lot of us probably remember Little Karibo's Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged Joey much more.
I never watched that series, but I've seen clips.
Oh my god, you need to.
I have seen clips.
It basically take the whole accent and then just crank it up to 11.
Oh god.
It's so bad. Well, that's parody for you though.
One of my favorite things is when people put clips from the actual show next to the abridged series, and it's like, guess which one is the real one?
He literally did that. Little Karibo would honestly take lines from the actual show and put it in the thing. and then there's a little disclaimer on the underneath of the thing. It's like, this is a line from the actual show.
This was not a joke line. This is
a line for the actual
how
show.
bad it was.
Oh god,
So
getting
bad.
into talking about dubs and impressions. I cannot wait for those episodes. Let's talk more about stereotypes and accents and how they can actually harm a voice actor, especially people's perception of like, oh, you're kind of insensitive when it comes to picking these voices, huh? This is why I absolutely advocate don't just look up cartoons or anime with these accents or voices. Try and look up how these people talk in a normal day-to-day life, especially if you're committed to this role. If you get a role in voice acting and it's asking you for an accent that you have never done before, look up a documentary about it. Look up the region specifically and like try to understand it a bit more than just, okay, they want me to do a British accent.
Well, alright then, I'm just gonna go straight on down to the what now? Yeah.
No, do not do that. Do some goddamn research. Cause that'll get you caught in 8K. Like I can feel the front teeth of that accent. That's what I mean by the stereotype of it. Like, hey, we would like you to do an Indian accent for this series. Okay, are you wanting
Can we skip this one?
Yeah.
'Cause this is a dangerous area to get into.
I would ask, do you want me to do Punjabi? Do you want me to do Central? Like, which region of India? And yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Because a lot of people have heard these stereotypes so often that when they're asked to do these accents, they're turned away from them. Because it's such dangerous it's a dangerous zone to get into because the perception of them comes from the stereotype thanks to media. It's like a vicious little Ouroboros cycle that has just ruined the opportunity for some voice actors because of it. Like, there was this one voice actor I saw make a post on r/voice acting. He is natural born from Ireland, grew up in Ireland, grew up speaking Gaelic, grew up like in the center of Ireland. He went to an audition and they asked him if he could stop faking being Irish for the sake of the audition and then do an Irish accent.
Ooh.
That's how bad the perception of it was. They're like, oh, you sound so Irish that we don't think you're Irish at all, and we think you're just an American being insensitive. Can you drop the accent and then put on the accent? And I was just like, Jesus Christ, you people are fucking stupid! That's why I get so mad about the voice acting industry at times, because these accents can harm.
Honestly, I do like the idea of, like, if you're looking for a certain type of dialect or something, finding somebody that
is a natural speaker of it is the first step.
Is a natural speaker of it, and can also speak English, if that's what you're trying to translate into, is probably the better option, because they'll be the ones that can actually do whatever style that you're looking for. Though, I also know that can also be backfired really poorly if people don't know how to actually pronounce things a little bit. Especially when it's a non-native English speaker.
Exactly, and another thing that comes from that is...
And that's how you get your B-movies of dubs over lips, and it looks god-awful, and the voice acting is absolutely trash.
Yeah, you've got a point there. But another thing
it is its own little certain subgenre of cult fans and stuff, but
bad voice acting has a place.
It's not great. You're cringing at it.
If you want to talk about voice acting, hi Mark. Hello doggy. That man is the epitome of bad acting. But
and he just stumbled impossibly into cult success.
Exactly. But enough about bad voices and bad voice acting. The thing about casting calls that are asking for a specific dialect or a specific accent can be both a good and bad thing. It can help raise awareness for, like, hey, this is how this voice should sound normally. This is how this voice should sound naturally from a native speaker. But it can also cause some people to think, oh, you're trying to gatekeep this from other talented voice actors who may actually be much more qualified from having experience in it. No, they're looking to try and have the proper sound for this character without them sounding like an insult to the people of that accent.
It's one of those things of, like, if you really want to prioritize the quality of the show, regardless of the, like, big names, that's also kind of a little bit of a problem that comes out of Hollywood, just in and of itself, is just, oh hey, we can grab this big name actor and pull him in, and it's like, well, you're also trying to, like, throw Shia LaBeouf into like an old Chinese movie or something.
Yeah, it would be
come on.
That's exactly what I mean. It would be like getting Yuri Lowenthal to do a Mexican accent, because you want Yuri Lowenthal in your game, but Yuri Lowenthal might not know how to do a Mexican accent, or he might not be able to do it justice. It's like, do you want the...
That is something that you can train, though.
Yes.
If you still want them to, but at the same time, it's also like...
That's why you get speech therapists.
But the other thing is, like, yeah, if you want the big name, you can get the big name, but I would very much go like, hey, we want you for this role, but we want to give you a little bit of extra guidance just in case, because we want to make sure things are good.
Exactly. That's how you know it's a good project with dedication to not harming anyone. The actor or the culture.
Companies like to cut corners and try to make things as cheap as possible, and so
there is a way to get around that issue when you really want, like, a certain, like, actor, and that is if you've ever noticed how, like, every movie that Will Smith is in, his character always at least partially feels like Will Smith. It is because he has his own writer who goes over, like, the script and will make small modifications to like add more Will Smith sort of character to it.
I never knew that.
Yeah, no, it's true. And so you have to, and so, like, the lesson there is, like, if you really want a certain actor in there, right, assuming that you're going to get them in, make it feel right to them, because if you just say, like, well, I want this actor in, just shoehorn them into this role, it's probably not going to be that good.
That explains a whole lot more. I never knew that.
That's how you end up with lines from, like, iRobot, where he does that big fake sneeze, and then he goes, "Oh, sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit." Like, such a Will Smith line.
That is a Will Smith line.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, like, even then, the Disney, like, they specifically, like, made characters based on, like, the comedic of Robin Williams, Genie. Like, they specifically made the character for him.
I wonder if Morgan Freeman has something like that.
Oh,
Probably, considering it's Morgan Freeman.
I mean, probably like the Lego movie when he played God again.
Yeah, because Will Smith, Nicolas Cage, Morgan Freeman, Keanu Reeves very much play themselves.
Yeah.
That's kind of why, like, when you get to the billing of those types of actors or voices, it's like, and this person as this character, instead of this character is portrayed by this actor. I never noticed that until now. Huh. But, if you're not one of those big names in the industry, if you're not one of the giants, if you're not Matt Mercer, if you're not Yuri Lowenthal, if you're not, if you're not one of the big giants of voice acting, and you're going for one of these roles, and it's for an accent that you might be close to or you're not used to, it's good to do multiple recordings and send it in with notes asking the creator, I did some research on this, I tried to sound as authentic as possible, please let me know how this sounds to you. If you'd like, I can absolutely re-record with more emphasis this way or that way.
And even then, YouTube is probably pretty good for the, just finding videos of, like, somebody speaks in X dialect. And then you can literally just find, like, a list of random dialects that you're trying to find, and then just go, like, hey, I'm trying to emulate the actual native speaker there as best as I can.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like, hey, do your research and, like, study. There's so much that goes into voice acting beyond, like, it's not as...
Let me tell you the girls. It's not as easy as some people make it seem. There's a lot of effort that goes into it.
Yes, indeed.
Beyond just changing the tone of your voice, changing your accent, there's a lot of training, practice, studying, homework that goes into this. And let me tell you, baby, it ain't easy. It ain't easy being cheesy.
Actually, another way that you can do things to make things a little bit easier is actually writing words out phonetically. And that would actually help you figure out where the pronunciations of certain various vowels and that kind of stuff is.
Oh yeah. Also, we have a wonderful...
Because I literally saw, like, a meme running around the other day where it's like, oh hey, let me write down something in that, like, Midwestern Canadian-ish kind of accent. And you could literally just read it phonetically, and it's like, oh hey, you're reading it in that accent.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Non-authority, vocal fry isn't really anything that you really need to avoid. Some people just talk at the bottom of a lower register, so their voice has, a bit of the vocal fry to it.
But honey does become your best friend when it comes to voice acting. Like, if you're spending 10 hours a day talking nonstop, changing your voice, like effort sounds, yelling, all that kind of stuff, honey becomes your goddamn best friend. Not the not the online shopping thing, but like the bee thing.
Yeah. I actually have talked to a few I have actually talked to a few voice actors, and what they really like to do is, whenever sometimes they get roles where they're just screaming nonstop for like 3 or 4 hours. Like they'll sit down and just take a break and just not say anything, and then they'll maybe get like a milk or water or something. No, nothing. They don't want to do, DBZ's stream session. But, It's one of those things of like, yeah, you're screaming, like you're gonna feel that like 2 or 3 days later. Like, most people in the industry will go, hey, we're going to have you do most of all your regular lines first, and then we're going to do all the screaming stuff later. Because by the time that you're doing the screaming stuff, that'll kill your voice. That'll be it for the rest of the day. And even then, they'll go like maybe half an hour to an hour or something, and then take a break, let you get a drink, let you calm down your voice. Definitely like cool water and stuff. From what I hear, they don't want to do like pop and stuff because the carbonation messes with things.
Some people will also say to avoid milk or like get lactose-free milk because dairy can sometimes increase mucus production, which can be picked up by some sound systems, which causes your voice to sound different. Like that's why some singers or some like chorus instructors say no dairy before rehearsal because they will say, I hear mucus. Who had dairy?
Future Trunks' voice actor passed out in one of those screaming sessions. Apparently.
Yeah, that's another thing. Screaming will take a fucking lot out of you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things of, like, you're expending a lot of air right out of your lungs.
I was trying to remember who it was. It was Jessica Calvello. She played Excel in Excel from Excel Saga in the first few episodes, and she had to be replaced because she burned out her voice. Because I don't know, for anyone who hasn't watched Excel Saga, Excel talks a lot, and she talks very fast, and she talks very loud. And she was not she was not cut out for what that was going to do to her voice.
Yep, I just looked it up. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Apparently, Anthony Daniels has hot tea before each voice acting session when doing Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
There's all sorts of tricks
teas and honeys and that kind of stuff. Helps to soothe the voice whenever you're trying to do voice acting.
I saw this post on Twitter a couple days ago about the, like, current voice actor for Minnie Mouse, who, like, revealed all sorts of tips and tricks and secrets of the trade to aspiring voice actors, and, like, that was one of the biggest things, like, tea and honey, and periods where you don't speak and let your throat rest. Because it's just as much of a muscle. And if you use it too much, if you stretch it too much, if you put too much energy into it, it will get burnout just like any other muscle. Let's talk about weightlifters. That's why they take breaks. That's why they take their time. You don't see them like lifting 400 pounds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You see them go up, relax, come down. Hold. Yeah, like that. Because those muscles aren't meant to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down at full throttle. Trains them better.
The human body is really good at burst stuff, but like long train sessions, like think your marathon runners and stuff, like they have to build up to doing marathons consistently. Like you'll see them running like first like week they'll just do like maybe a mile every day, and then next week, the second week, they'll do 2 miles, then 3 miles, then 4 miles.
Oh yeah,
it's one of those things of like
voice actors are the marathon runners.
Same with voice acting. Voice acting is kind of the same way. It's one of those things of like, oh hey, you have to work at building how to do a certain type of voice, and then once you do it enough times, get those repetitions in, and you keep consistently maintaining that. Yeah, you have to keep consistently maintaining that sort of form consistency with your routine. it'll keep you able to do those more longer extended periods of times in voice acting or running or weightlifting and that kind of stuff. But also, it'll help you kind of train for when you want to do all those burst styles of speed and voice acting when like, oh hey, people have to train to scream.
Oh, yeah. Also, Yo-Yo, voice actors aren't precluded from, like, having treats like that. It's normally, they won't have that treat before they go in for a session. They'll do that in between gigs or in between, like, work periods. Like, hey, I don't have any gigs lined up for the next 5 days, so I'm gonna treat myself to some ice cream or something. And that's, like you said, it's soothing for the throat, but it's also delicious for them. So you don't have to go full monastic on this. You don't have to become a monk of voice acting. You can still do what you love. You can still have your treats. But if you're getting scheduled and all that, be aware of that. If you're gonna be going in for a voice acting session, maybe don't have a pot of fondue.
That would be the worst.
That would be the fucking worst. You would go into the voice acting session like,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need a moment. I had a bunch of cheese before I got here.
And now I sound like Bentley from Sly Cooper.
Are you okay? Your voice is kind of sounding cheesy.
No, it's fine. I sound perfectly. I sound exactly like Bentley from Sly Cooper.
God.
There's something you need to know, Sly.
Nemi, this might not be my stream, but I'm still gonna tell you to get out for that joke.
Come on! I'm already being made to wear a maid dress on my own stream. Shut up.
Listen. If Nem wants to make those types of jokes,
There's a 500-bit pun tax.
Ah, goddammit.
Good, as it should be.
If you want to make a joke like that, 500 bits.
The first one's free.
that's how I get hooked.
Everybody gets one.
Tell him, Peter. Yeah, see, Cleveland, apparently everybody gets one.
Yes, indeed.
God, I would love to. I would love to like have 8 people in for like an impressions night or something like that.
Well, I will definitely be there if you will have me.
Oh hell yeah! Also, I want to take a quick moment to talk about like some of the future episodes. We're gonna have an episode that's about impressions, an episode that's about self-care when it comes to voice acting. Like the whole episode.
Oh.
The whole episode is going to be about voice acting and self-care. There will be an episode about strictly masculine voice training. There will be an episode strictly about feminine voice training. We're going to have an episode about nothing but impressions. We're going to have an episode that's about one of the absolute most difficult voice acting skills to master or even get the hang of, and that is singing in a different voice. Because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but if you've ever like tried to sing like a Disney villain song and try to emulate that voice, your voice just kind of starts slipping back to your natural voice as you're singing it. Like, I could try singing Scar's Be Prepared from The Lion King as Scar, and I will naturally start sounding like Pamphlet. Because when you're singing, your vocal cords want to go back to where they're comfortable. And that's why singing in a different voice entirely is
A god skill. Like, holy shit.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, that's also kind of one of those things. If we want to kind of go back into like the whole like voice acting thing, learning
Please.
how to train your voice and kind of like figure out how to actually like shift the tone in your voice is kind of one of the like major things that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things of like, oh, hey, do you want to learn how to create a little bit more of a sultry voice where you're having a little bit more of that kind of like, oh, just a little bit more in the mouth. Instead of going down deep down into your lungs, is kind of where you can kind of feel where the the vibrations of your voice are, and then shifting that up and down depending on where you want to go, changing the shape of your lips and your mouth and to where your tongue is placed in order to actually figure out where to move. If you want to shift into like
you have a point there,
lower
Yo-Yo.
voice.
Nami, are
you
you
want to go
trying
into
to
low
imply that a
voice?
sultry voice has to come from the front of the mouth?
Oh my god! This is not say so! But, yeah, Yo-Yo, you have a point there.
Oh,
and
index.
No! Run!
Oh, Paige.
I'm hiding. Don't do that! Gives her the synesthesia tinglies. Don't do that! But yeah, Yo-Yo makes a point here. Sometimes when it comes to singing as a character, they will cast a different voice entirely.
Yeah. Your daily dose of power.
For example, Rasputin was Christopher Lloyd for Anastasia, but his singing voice was Jim Cummings. But then there's other examples, such as Rob Paulson, the voice actor for Yakko Warner.
Be prepared.
Huh?
Be prepared.
Yeah. But
He also did that one. Jim
I'll never
Cummings.
not laugh at that name.
Jim Cummings. you are very much Ichi. But I want to make another quick mention of another voice actor who also does his singing as his characters. Rob Paulson, the voice actor for Yakko Warner. Remember how how he did Countries of the World with Yakko Warner? That is his voice of Yakko singing. Yeah, that's Yakko's voice singing. That's not Rob Paulson singing. That's Rob Paulson as Yakko Warner singing as Yakko Warner. That's not his natural singing voice.
Scruffy says Alan Tudyk also did some stuff.
Tim Curry, who is just Tim Curry when he sings.
Tim Curry. I mean, Tim Curry is just Tim Curry. Like, you can leave him alone and he'll be perfectly fine. Give him some head pats. Tim Curry. I swear, there was another thing going around that was like, you can tell who someone is by how they know Tim Curry.
I know where I know Tim Curry from, and every time I think about it, it makes me shiver with anticipation.
Oh, darling.
Oh, darling, we're gonna have to talk about your accent. That one goes in deep.
Yeah, I hope this episode has been helpful and like
I'll
shining
agree.
light on like the whole problem with accents in voice acting as an industry, and like again, the reason why a lot of people won't even try to do an Indian accent is because of how much of a minefield it is from all of the bad stereotypes of bad voice actors giving it a bad rap. Like, hey, we want you to play a caricature of this voice.
Absolutely not. I would rather eat glass.
We want you to do a caricature and bastardization of this accent for this role.
Do you have any shards of glass on hand? I'd rather eat those.
So I do want to say
I
one.
would like to talk in the horse's voice. Yeah.
What's up?
So I do want to say one thing real quick, and this is something that was brought up by Kieran Strange, who is a professional voice actor and trans non-binary man.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned Kieran before.
Huh?
You've mentioned Kieran before.
They are a wonderful being.
Yeah.
Kieran is an absolute darling.
Oh, I would love to
Kieran,
meet him.
Kieran just lights up any room that he's in, honestly. But he did a panel about representation and voice acting and everything. And one of the things that he mentioned is that for a lot of people who are doing voice acting, they're not just, their cup is not flowing over with jobs. A lot of the times it's you have to weigh, like, do I pass on this job? And so while it is definitely always preferred to say, like, there's somebody who knows this voice and can do it better than me, a lot of voice actors are just really trying to just make ends meet and everything.
Yeah.
And for example, Kieran lives in around the Dallas area of Texas, and he drives to pretty much every convention, whether that's in Ohio or Michigan. He will drive across the country just because it's a matter of the economy. So always try to see, like, how, like, certain voice actors, like, behave, like how they treat roles in that, and just understand that these are people who are trying not to starve as well.
Yeah, that is something to be aware of. Like, sometimes it's a matter of making ends meet, sometimes it's a matter of, will this hurt my career? Will this help me get my next meal? Sometimes it comes down to that. But in my personal opinion, if it comes down to a role with an accent that you're not used to, and it might be a bastardization of that accent, I would advise against it. Unless it's an absolute necessity to just get through that gig so that you can afford something necessary. It sucks that sometimes it comes down to that. I wish it didn't have to. Sorry, Nem, you wanted to say something?
I was also gonna say, like, I've talked to some of the voice acting people through, like, the anime industry, and
Wow, lucky. My big sisters are awesome.
It's called going to anime conventions.
It's called I don't know where they happen!
That's fair.
It's
Also,
called message us.
Okay, I will message you. It's also, my parents would not let me because they would guilt me into not spending that money. Like, I'm a fucking adult, let me do this.
I can get you in if you really want to, but like I said, just message me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where it's just like talking to them. Like some of them have like certain quotas that they can do, and like the company in and of itself actually has legally has to rotate the voice actors out. So it's not like, oh hey, you get your Monica Rial, Todd Habercorn in every single anime ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them to death. I really do. But they're in a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of one of those things of like, hey, we have to... the company's like, yeah, we're going to keep you around, give you some like background rules a little bit sometimes. But
when I was almost given a role for something, I was informed about some of this stuff. Like, hey, if we really like you, we will keep you on, but it might not be for a while because we got to rotate out different people so that everyone has their voice heard and everyone gets their chance. It's not going to be... You might not get a role every single show we do. You might not even get a role every 5 shows we do. But you are definitely going to still be on the list. I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I understand perfectly. And we have a question from the audience. Oh, sorry, Nan, what was that?
Yeah, for the most part, it's mostly just being able to go through the voice acting hirees and bring in some new blood so that the people can get their chance to kind of get in and show off their skills, and instead of having to like just never get a break or anything. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna do a background dude number 3 in the back. Going like, oh yes, I've seen that. And then that's the only line you ever have in the show.
Yeah.
It happens, but...
We have a question here from the audience from Non-Authority. Does the gang have any advice on how to start researching accent nuances? Namely, something like, hey, you're gonna do a New Yorker, but are you doing from the Bronx? Are you doing from Staten Island? Are you from Long Island? Are you from, Queens? That's a matter of, like, Google being like, try to find videos of these specific accents and, like, try to pick out the nuances from studying them. Hey, you have a good one. You have a good one, Yo-Yo. Like I said, when it comes to accents and, like, understanding an accent you have not heard before, you gotta study. Gotta treat it like you're back in college and it's a class you care about.
Wait, you had those?
Pretend it's a class you care about! Regardless!
Listen, Paige, I didn't drop out of high school for nothing, okay? Favorite classes? Sounds like nerd shit.
Listen, I stopped at Calculus 3. I'm not that much of a nerd.
You stopped at Calculus 3. Get out of here.
Math.
Math.
I can tell you what cursive I means. How is that going to apply to my everyday life? Fuck if I know!
I took trigonometry, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. How am I ever going to use this?
Well, if you're ever going to land a plane in a river,
I mean,
and you need to calculate the perfect angle to come in at, please solve for sine over cosine.
Yeah, no kidding.
Solve for sine over cosine in your head at the drop
I
of a pin.
don't need to solve for anything to figure out what angle I need to come in at, okay?
I do love some of those word problems from math, though. It's like,
Yeah, they're dumb.
be in this situation!
I feel like this is secretly a test for language comprehension skills.
One of my chat goes, oh, just say, I'm walking here, and you're golden. And it's like, nah.
You can't say the whole... I don't know if you've seen that...
I'm walking here.
For this person in your chat, I don't know if you've seen that TikTok of the guy where he's not from New York, he went to New York, he did the whole thing, and Times Square to a New Yorker, and she came at him and punched him across the face and told him, we do not say that kind of shit here. You shut your goddamn mouth.
I think I remember that. She didn't punch him, but he was just walking down the street, like doing an Instagram reel or whatever,
Yeah.
just selfie cam and that. And she grabbed him from out of the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And looked him hard in the eyes and said, you listen to me. We don't fucking talk like that, And she just gave him the business. And she's like, okay. And he's like, okay, all right.
Forget about it.
And then she let him go and started walking away.
And he's like, oh, forget about it.
And then he starts walking away and he does that, and she just materializes back out of the crowd and grabs him and teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid.
For that person in Nem's chat, you can use those phrases to keep you in the mindset of that accent, but be aware that those are stereotypical phrases. Those are not actual phrases.
Yeah, it's one of those things of, you really have to understand your crowd, because it's one of those things of, like, if you're just doing it on the street, you're liable to get, especially to the people that you're, like, trying to mimic, like, it's liable to get you actually wounded.
My rule of thumb is this: when it comes to accents, if it would be on a Team Fortress 2 character, it's probably an offensive phrase. Look at Scout!
Look at me, chocolates!
Yeah, look at me, Chuckle Nuts, we're talking here! Bonk!
Bonk!
Though his voice actor is such a cool guy.
Oh, he's wonderful.
I love that stream where he did karaoke in Scout's voice while in a maid dress. And it would be like chat requests. Yeah, he did he did a karaoke stream in a maid dress, I think it was. And he just did all the karaoke songs in Scout's voice.
I need to find this.
I have never needed to see a video
He
so
is
badly
such a
in my
meme
life.
lord. He also did the whole
hey, I know you got dirty dishes in your sink. You better go fucking wash them.
Hey, Ma!
He is
cat outside.
Hey man, he's such an angel.
Ah.
Yeah, keep the bada bangs, bada booms to a minimum. As I'm sure some of you who are routine watchers of this channel know, when I do my Monday voice acting streams with whatever game I'm playing, if I'm gonna do a voice like this or something, I try to avoid those types of phrases. And I just read from, I just read what I'm looking at, or I read the words I'm looking at, and I talk in an accent that befits the character, you know? That's because I spent a lot of time studying these accents that I'm used to doing. And it's a matter of knowing when you're being a stereotype, you know? By the way, you two girls are going to get the French ara when I'm done with you. I just want you to know that. You're going to get the French ara.
I just hear nut after that.
Oh my god, my fucking chat is too good at that timing. You booklets are way too fucking good at hitting the nut button for timing. I need to remove that goddamn sound alert.
I'm telling you, it will be the death of me. Dear lordy.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Also, I'm so happy I
It's how
can.
you will say, fun to mess with you.
Really? Why does everybody do that? But I'm so happy I can just talk with you two like this and have you here tonight. And you both are used to me doing this with my voice, so it's not a big distraction.
I really don't know how you get that highest register because I can't do it with my voice.
Well, my vocal coach was kind of strict, and I spent 8 months with her.
I've never actually spent time with a vocal coach, so
Yeah, I spent 8 months getting lessons from a professional speech therapist vocal coach. Because
Like I've said many times before, this is where my voice was before I started transitioning, and I thought I would never be able to sound like I do now, because you hear this dark, down baritone, gravelly, mumbly kind of guy voice as just kind of sticks out in a crowd, if you would hear it coming from a little lady of my size.
But now I'm able to easily get my voice up into this register, and with a little bit of effort. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 6, 2, 1. I can get even higher.
that high as well, but I just don't feel like it really fits my kind of personality all that well.
And for anyone that plays League of Legends, that tasted purple.
Double rainbow? What does it mean?
I do Lulu's voice.
No,
Well,
I actually prefer a little bit more of the kind of the lower register of the
Nem?
women's voice, feminine voice.
I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard you speak, I thought you were cis AFAB. You've done wonderful work.
I do really want to get rid of the whole nasally kind of stuffed nose kind of sound because
I don't
it
hear
drives
that.
me insane.
Oh, I can understand that.
Trust me.
That's the number
I
one
can knock
thing.
it out. I can knock it out a little bit, but it doesn't really.
And the same goes for Baffy. I legit.
It's one of those things
legit
where
both
I really have to
cis-AFAB.
bring it down into my. I'm actually trans.
Again, when I first heard you both, I thought cis-AFAB.
I mean, if I wanted to really go back into my normal voice, I think this is about where it actually would be. And oh god, I have not touched this voice in so long. It feels weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, non-authority, that's exactly
God.
the thing.
It hurts. It hurts.
The
I can
reason
stop.
for
No,
this
turn it back up, turn it back up.
podcast, the number one point of this podcast is to help anyone in the community find comfort with how they sound to themselves first and foremost. Because I know voices and the perception of your voice can be the absolute number one source of dysphoria, especially when you're talking to people. And that's why I started this podcast, so that I can help anyone and everyone I can reach find more comfort and peace with themselves.
That's why I want to use this weird talent of mine to help anyone, whether you're AFAB, whether you're AMAB, whether you're trans, whether you're cis, whether you want to talk more in public, whether you want to change your voice a little bit. I am here for you. And I will do everything in my power to give these lessons to you for free.
One of the things that I really learned how to do first and foremost was actually going through and throwing my voice into those really weird, like, way off the wall, like, you're doing an impression of, I don't know. Why, yes, I'm going to talk like this. It's going to be really weird, and it's going to be a voice that nobody will ever talk in.
He-Man!
Yes!
Feel the power of Skeletor!
Skeletor!
Yeah!
Yes! Yeah!
They won't spoil it! Rattle 'em, boys!
It's one of those things where it's just like, do the really, really weird impressions. And then that's the way that you can learn how to actually, like, control your voice.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the big lessons my coach taught me. Find a character.
That's how I am self-taught.
Oh, yeah, you are amazing for it.
I am self-taught.
I was too dumb.
The reason why I kind of picked up on it so well is because I was like, I'm just doing impressions the entire time. I'm just learning how to control my voice in a way so that Hyperfires with Skeletor with weird pauses. Yeah, that's fair. Yes, I am Sans Undertale.
Oh, yeah, if you want to just sound like Sans Undertale, just say E. And with that, I just insulted your mother.
Bad. So bad.
But yeah, my vocal coach always taught me, find a character whose voice you admire. Find a voice actor you admire. Find 3 voice actors you admire. And try to start replicating their voices in a way. Try to emulate their voices. Even if it's not in your range, it's a good way to have like a target of, I want to get to here, and I want to keep trying to sound like this, and I will keep at it until I hone in on it, because I will train my vocal cords.
Yeah, another thing that I, like, okay, I'm part of, like, the cosplay community as well. Like, being able to just dress up as a character, and is like, oh, hey, wouldn't it be fun if I actually went around the convention talking as the character, just in their voice. One of the first ones that I ever did was Grell Sutcliffe from Black Butler. He's like, oh, Bassie! Wait, oh god. Oh, Sebastian!
Oh, Bassie!
That's a lot of up and down! Oh, Bassie!
Give him a good old up and down.
I love that voice!
Oh, Sebastian, you're so wonderful, and I could just ride you for days.
Oh my god, this is reminding me of something entirely different.
I know. It's one of those, like, it's that very flamboyant style of voice
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to like try and emulate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that comes with voice acting.
Yugi boy.
Yugi boy.
So I have to ask,
What's up, Balvey?
have you two, have you two seen this old, like, hilarious comic of Mr. Darcy O?
No.
Oh, Mr. Darcy. Oh.
It's this comic that's drawn where basically Mr. Darcy from what was it? What was that? Pride and Prejudice?
Possibly.
Let me look at
Or is it the War and Peace or something?
No. It was. I'm pretty sure it was that. But anyways, and so he basically just just comes home and it's just like immaculately sexy and just like and there's it's so overdramatic and the woman's just like is just oh Mr. Darcy oh and like every time I would read it's oh Mr. Darcy oh
Mr. Darcy.
yeah, it is a Gone with the Wind.
Oh, Gone with the Wind. That's
It's a Gone with the Wind parody. It's
wait what
I'm looking at the
it's
Oh
one of
Mr.
those-
Darcy comic.
Oh,
Elizabeth,
No,
I am
oh.
home now.
it's Pride and
Elizabeth,
Prejudice.
I'm
Oh, Pride and Prejudice, yeah. I am looking so handsome,
know.
and also my shirt opened. Oh, Mr. Darcy,
Darcy oh
and I will leave
Mr.
my
Darcy.
cravat. And I will leave my cravat on. Gaze. Meanwhile,
No.
in a 20-mile radius of this
Boulder.
event, bodices ripping. Mr. Darcy,
Oh,
men
Mr.
turning
Darcy,
gay.
oh.
Mr. Darcy. It was amazing.
the end.
it's so bad. I love it though. But yeah, that was one of those weird ones where it's just like I learned how to do it by just doing like all the like really really weird off the wall style of voices and then like toning it back down into like the normal range.
See, that is a really great. That is a really great technique, and
Because like when you can go 0 to 10 and then just going from 10 down to like a 7 or a 6 or something, that's when you are able to learn how to actually control your voice in a way that is productive and allows you to sound the way that you actually want to sound. Unfortunately, that's kind of also one of those things where if I'm actually trying to talk in a way that I would like to sound, it's a little bit more on that smooth side where I don't get to have that very emotive style,
yeah,
where it's not like. But then again, but as a whole, like, oh hey, you want me to get all like flustered and stuff? I'll actually kind of start going to like an ah. Look at you! No.
And me, I worked the
But
opposite
the
way.
thing is, you can't get those kinds of voices and maintain that initial style of voice. So that's how it works for me. Yes, we are going to still be doing the meme stream here shortly.
Bev, you wanted to say
Depending
something?
on when things happen.
Yeah, I went like the exact opposite way of Nemi. I started out with the small stuff and the small adjustments.
It's a matter of finding what works for you. Each and every person is different when it comes to this stuff. But I'd like to take this moment to like have our little like. This is a disclaimer I'm going to have in every episode. I'm not a professional voice actor or voice coach. I'm simply using what I have learned and with the help of other people on their journeys to try and help people get a step up on this. And I know it's a difficult road. I struggled with it for the longest time. It took me almost 13 months before someone gendered me correctly just from hearing my voice. And there were times where I would come home and just want to cry into my pillow because I felt so defeated that oh, this is never going to work out for me, it's just causing me more dysphoria, I might as well just be a mute. But look at where I am now. If you put in the effort and you take the time, but understand that there may be bumps along the road, I'm sure you'll get there. And if this podcast can help you or anyone you know reduce those bumps on the road, then I will say that this podcast was successful. And know that I and many other people are here in your corner, here to support you. So, please, just remember you're not alone, okay?
We love you.
Disclaimer over.
Yay!
We have about 10 more minutes left of the episode. After this, we'll probably switch over to No Straight Roads for a little bit, which Matthew likes to tease me about the game name.
The gay name?
The game name.
Okay.
Damn it!
The gay name?
But, would you two like to talk about some of the things that you have planned for this week, or anything that you have coming up? Any big events?
Well, after this, I am going to be going into a try not to laugh / meme stream / cultivated whatever the community wants to try to show me in my Discord.
Try not to get.
We'll be going into
Try not to get
try
age
not to laugh
restricted challenge.
try not to get age restricted challenge.
Oh God.
YouTube is a mess
Yeah,
right now.
I saw that one. It was like, wow.
Markiplier's try not to get age
YouTube,
restricted.
wow. YouTube, wow.
Orc massage.
After that, we'll probably just Sunday. I'm actually going to be playing the Tyranny of Dragons campaign that we've been running. I will be playing as a UNT cleric.
Ooh.
That actually talks a lot more like this, and it's a little bit more on the
Sexist like lady.
It carries out the vowels and the S's a little bit more, and my microphone
you're giving me
hates
the
me
tingles.
because of all the S's.
Stop it, you're giving me the tickles.
Ah, yes, you would like to have some tingles, wouldn't you? As I take my fangs and pierce them into your neck.
Buffering.
And
Buffering.
I'm the unsay-so one.
Anyways, Baffy, would you like to talk about some of the events you have planned for this week? Would you like to talk about your big ol' debut that you had? You've officially debuted, haven't you?
Happy debuted!
I did. It was very fun, and I am recovering from the realization that the VOD is gone.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, it's cry a little inside, cry a lot outside.
Cry harder than
Yeah.
Narancha.
But yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of clips and everything, you know, which is great, you know.
Oh hell yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I'll just have to re-debut at some point.
Speaking of, oh, please finish.
But what I have going on tonight, afterwards, I have a couple promises from that stream, from the debut that I will be finishing tonight. That is chat makes me say things. Where it was originally like 10 minutes, but I'm just gonna make it like half an hour. People can pop into chat and just be like, hey, say this, and yes, sometimes I will have to say stupid, goofy things.
Or like when I made
Say
you,
stupid, goofy things.
like when I made you when I banned the word cult while you were playing Cult of the Lamb. The exact opposite of it, though.
Something like that.
The
yes.
religion of the lamb.
But I may also end up being forced to say, you know, things like the anime Big Sister thing. The era. I will not do it properly yet. You will have to come and make me do it for real. Also mostly if I'm gonna do that, The first time I do that, I want it to be on my stream. That's the only thing. Once I've done it for the first time on my stream, then fine.
Well, you said era, right? That's a good old Wisconsin era you get there.
Era.
Gave it the good old era.
Record scratch?
But other than that, I've got a couple weeks that are going to be somewhat jam-packed. A week from Control Yourself. A week from tomorrow, I'm doing a stretch goal, which was a very unsay-so Pokemon Smasher Pass. And then the Sunday after that, which will be the 2nd, will be another stretch goal, a tremendously unsay-so VTuber Smasher Pass.
Sign me up. I want to hear what you have to say about me.
Sure you do. And then the day before that, day 1 of Spooktober, I actually have a collab
I may have
coming
to
up.
actually throw like 3 things at you, Bethy, because I already know like your
spooky.
main for me, but it's like I have different forms, so I want to hear your thoughts on the different forms.
This isn't even my final form.
Well, I am a shapeshifter after all.
But I would like to take a moment to talk about some of the things we have planned for the index page section.
Yay!
I have a new design that's coming in. I'm going to be poking an artist to see if we can get an advance on it, and then I will be getting a new model done, and there will be a complete re-debut of it. The one thing I can say as a sneak peek about it, it's going to be properly book themed. I'm switching from e-reader to traditional book. And I'm excited to show that. And I am gonna do a giant hey, I'm re-debuting. You wanna see my new look ahead of time? Give me some of them likes or retweets, stuff like that. Try to engage. And after I re-debut, I'm thinking a month after that or 2 weeks after that, I might do my first subathon. And it will be soft capped.
Good luck, don't die.
Good luck, don't die. Don't dead open inside. The pupils are staying for sure.
I also will be having a debut coming up within the next few months. It's not anytime soon. It's soon, but it's soon trademark where it's not going to be like next week kind of deal, but I will be having my own debut.
Hell yeah, now!
Copyright digital streams.
All of the art is done.
Hell yeah!
So basically we're just making sure everything's all kind of cropped the way it should be. And laid out
how
so
many
that
tails do you have right now,
I have 9.
Oh, so you're a granny.
I'm an old fogey. I am an archfey, okay? This is one of those things that you earn.
Back in my day, we casted Firebolt and liked it.
Back in my day, we used to charm adventures into my words.
Back in my day, you used to have to multi-class into 3 different classes to get Bard, and we were fine with that. Back in my day, having an armor class below 0 was good, but y'all wouldn't know about that.
Oh God.
Oh God, I love you both.
But in all seriousness, though, I will be having a live 2D model. It's gonna have a whole bunch of stuff.
Hell yeah!
I'm very excited, and it is basically going to the animator here within the next week or so. So we'll get all that stuff set up, and it'll be super pretty. I'm so excited.
Super pretty.
Super pretty. Okay, so with that, I guess we.
We're gonna wrap up the episode, and we'll take a short break so everyone can get up, stretch, go to the bathroom if they need to, get some water. I know I have to use the restroom really quick, and then we're gonna continue on into No Straight Roads while my 2 lovely big sisters here will be doing their own things.
I will be continuing into a meme stream. So, if you want to say hi, I'll say hi in the chat.
I'll say weed.
Come have a laugh.
Oh, wait, you meant the other high. You meant the other high. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, I'll probably also be doing the other kind of high.
I've never touched weed,
I literally
actually.
bought some this morning.
Nice.
I got a nice little deal for like a $10 off coupon, so I got like $40 worth for like $20. It was like, yes.
I've never actually touched weed once.
It's not as...
I have certainly never, ever tasted the devil's tobacco.
Lol, weed has coupons now? Wow.
From the dispensaries, yeah.
Anyways, thank you both so very much for being here for episode 2 of the TranScribeCast. I will see everyone in 2 weeks for episode 3.
Yay! And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was wonderful to have you here. It was wonderful to have you both here for 90 minutes just talking.
Of course.
Booklets, if you'd like to stay, we're going to go into a game in about 5 minutes.